Welcome to the lesson Following Your Path in the Finding Your Purpose module. So in this lesson, I'm going to be talking about how you can really work on figuring out where your path is compared to everybody else's, compared to what everybody else is telling you, and how to start following that. So first, I'm going to ask a series of questions, but what energizes you? So if you're really struggling with finding your life purpose, if you're like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, this is something that's actually completely normal. And I'm not sure if we'll ever fully have it figured out, like where we are like, yes, this is my life purpose. This is what I was put on this earth to do. I don't think it's necessarily the best advice to just try to find that in your life because you might not ever find it. But what does help is living more authentically and going down your own path and listening to your heart more, listening to what you want more, because then your life will be more fulfilling. So what energizes you? What gets you excited in the morning? What makes you look forward to the future? And if you are right now like, nothing does, I'm not excited for anything, I don't care about anything, that's okay. I'm not expecting you to have an immediate answer right now, but if you do, pay attention to that. Keep note of this. If you could do anything in the world, what would you want to do? And this is with zero limits, guys. If you're like, well, I would want to be a rock star, but that's never going to happen. Or I would like to fly planes for a living, but that would be too expensive, Just pay attention and maybe even write down all of the things that you are interested in, that you think are cool, that kind of excite you, that you might like watching YouTube videos on, and just listen to that. Pay attention to that because that is what makes you you. When you can recognize, hey, I like watching airplane videos, or I like to blog. I really want to be a blogger. These things, when you can identify them, then you begin to learn more about yourself and learn what you actually like to do. And think about the people who inspire you and who you look up to. So what would it be like to follow in their footsteps? If you see other people who are in a different field than you are and you're like, wow, that would just be so cool, or in your current field, at your current job, whatever it is, if you're in school and you hang out with people who are further along than you, just think about all the inspiring people around you that you look up to and you're like, wow, that would be amazing to follow in their footsteps. I would love to do what they're doing. And try to fill your life up with talking to them, with following them maybe on social media, just kind of starting to engulf your life in the things that you're passionate about, the things you care about, whatever that is. Even if it's nothing, if it's something that never comes out of it. So maybe you have a favorite band, favorite artist, favorite author, favorite singer, whoever it is, just start collecting this so you can realize, oh yeah, this is the stuff that I really enjoy doing, enjoy listening to, and enjoy having. And then what is holding you back from this? So if you do have a passion in your life, if you have a hobby, if you have something that you just love to do, and you've thought about it and you're like, I would like to have a career in this, or I would like to add more of this into my life, what is holding you back from this? A lot of the times we can tell ourselves that it's not possible to have this. Maybe you're really passionate about making a lot of money in your life and you want to be successful so you can travel more, but you might be holding yourself back because maybe nobody in your family has ever been successful at that. Everybody lives paycheck to paycheck. These beliefs that you have, that you've seen in your life that seem to be true, what is holding you back? Is there something in your life that is holding you back from your true purpose? And what do you often tell yourself that results in feeling of discontentment? So those moments where you're like, I need to figure my life out. I hate where my life is going. What are you telling yourself in these times? Or you're like, I want to start a new career. I want to get a puppy. I want to move. I just need to figure something out, And pay attention, like, what are you telling yourself? And ask yourself if you are ready to make a change. So obviously, it's scary. The uncertainty of things is scary. And if you're wanting to make a change in your life, to figure out your life purpose, follow your passion, all of these things, are you ready to make that change? Are you ready to work on it? And that leads me into the next question of what sacrifices are you willing to make? So just an example, my personal story. I was working in a job like 2 or 3 years ago, and I thought it was my career. This was when I was trying to figure out my life purpose, and I hated it. I really hated the job. I worked in construction in a designing blueprints and everything on the computer. And I worked with a bunch of older men, and it was a very isolated job. I was always by myself or surrounded by men who I had nothing in relation to, nothing to relate to at all. And I felt really alone and lost and confused, but it was a good paying job. And, I was like, well, my dad's happy with me, so I'm successful in his eyes as long as I keep going down this path. But I hated it. And ever since I was a little kid, I have loved writing. I've been a huge fan of writing and reading, but writing in particular. I write in a journal daily. I write all the frickin' time. So I was like, how can I get a job in writing? Because I was always told growing up that because I got an English degree, I could either be a teacher or an author. Either way, I would never make enough money to survive. I was always told this from a very, very young age. And that is disheartening to hear. And it kind of like blocks you into this bubble. So once I reached this breaking point, once I was an adult and I realized there's more out there to than just this little bubble that I'm in, I started seeing like there's freelance writing, there's blogging, there's writing for newspapers. There's different ways to be a writer than just to be an author or to be a teacher, And during this time, I realized, what sacrifices am I willing to make this happen? Did I care enough about writing to sacrifice my good paying job, to sacrifice time with my boyfriend and my animals to work on this, to sacrifice my evenings, my free time, to learn about how to be a freelance writer, how to be a blogger? Was I willing to sacrifice that? And you have to think about that. Are you willing to sacrifice things? Like the really important things in your life for potential happiness in the future? And why would sacrificing this be worth it to you? Like, think about all the reasons why. For me, it was like, so I could be doing something I actually love to do. So I could be working at home, working from anywhere, so I could travel more. I could be happier. And for you, if whatever it is, think about all of the benefits that come with this. The whole reason why you want to get started in the first place, why you want to chase this crazy dream that feels so out of reach, maybe to you, or you want to find your life purpose. And maybe that means traveling more, taking a break from being an adult for a while, whatever it is that you're like, this will bring me closer to my life purpose. What is worth it to you to sacrifice? Are you willing to live out of your car to do it? What are your limits on this? And it's totally okay to have limits. I'm not saying that you don't have to have limits, because I definitely do with myself. But I think it's important to recognize, okay, how far am I willing to go with this? And am I willing to do what it takes? Because if you do answer these questions like, hell yes, I am, then like in your gut, And I'm not saying that you have to feel this way, but if you're like, yeah, I do, I want to. I know my boyfriend is really into Fortnite, and he watches a lot of streamers who only play Fortnite for a living. And if you wanted to, you could do that. And if there's somebody out there who's like, I really want to get into gaming and do this, I am willing to do what it takes to get there. And that means going through a rough patch and a learning curve, all of these things. But when you have something that you care about, you're passionate about, you're much more willing to go that extra mile versus something that you absolutely don't care about. And that's when you can kind of identify, like, do I really like this job, or is it nice just because it's safe and it's the money? That's what I went through with my old job. and then expand the world around you. So finding your purpose may require changing your situation, changing your current situation. You might have to go take a class to learn about a new job that you want to get, or you might have to volunteer somewhere to learn about how you can work with animals. Whatever it is, guys, you might have to change your current situation in order to grow and to find your life purpose, to figure out what it is that you want in your life. And that is something a lot of people aren't willing to sacrifice. That is the thing. They're like, no, I don't want to change my life. I don't want to have to change in order for my life to improve. But that's kind of a catch-22 because you have to change in order to improve. And if you don't want to, nothing is going to change. And research ways that your passion can help others and how you can help others. So when I started my blog, Lovely Refinement, one of the biggest things that was so intriguing to it about it to me, was that I could help other women. I could help other people struggling with mental health. And based off of my personal experience and my knowledge and what I've gone through, I could talk and I could communicate to other people who are going through the same exact thing. If they're at a job they hate, they are not alone. And that was my biggest thing. I was like, I want to make other people feel like they're not alone in this world, because this world can feel super freaking lonely sometimes. So research ways that your passion can help others and how you can help others by pursuing this and being like, this is a huge benefit because it not only benefits me, it benefits other people. And take on new adventures that bring you closer to your purpose. This might mean, like I said, like expand the world around you. So it might literally mean traveling, going to different countries so you get a different perspective, or going to the next town over so you can just get out of your world for a little bit and you can see, oh, there's more to life than just my little bubble. You know, there's more possibilities out there than I'm giving myself credit for. I am capable of more. And really just work on this, guys. This is kind of the key to figuring out your life purpose. All of these steps, if you're willing to go through them, you just have to work on figuring out what sparks that light inside of you, you know? What lights your fire and what burns it out? That too. You have to figure out, is your relationship really burning you out instead of making you happy? Is your environment, is the place you're living kind of a drag and it's dark and grungy and it doesn't motivate you and you don't want to do anything because where you live isn't very safe? Figure out what's holding you back, guys, and then focus on the things that you care about, that you're willing to sacrifice. And I guarantee that when you focus on this stuff, you will definitely feel better. All right, that's it for this lesson. I will see you in the next one.